But just that we know, pointing back to what we know the conclusion is, and we're working diligently to, resolve that and try to achieve that conclusion. So.
Is on campus feasible, or is it just near campus?
Les, we're really still at the stage where, it's kind of a combination of assessing where is right, and then how to achieve where is the other part. In other words, identifying and raising the resources for it. So it's a combination of those efforts, and I can't honestly tell anyone, for certain what that outcome will be in either case.
You look around, you don't see an obvious place for a stadium, but you're saying it is possible that you could find space.
I think it's one of the considerations or options that absolutely are part of the mix that we're reviewing.
And not saying that he made excuses for it, but did Bob bring that up, that would be a huge advantage to have a different venue to play in?
He and I have had those discussions from the time that he came, as I do with our president and multiple people. But he also understands, this is what we just discussed was the process. And so, is that the priority? Is that the business of the day that needs most attended to? No. If for the long term, certainly it's a very important issue. But no, that's not one that Bob has used as an excuse or aspect, because, on the other side, from a recruiting standpoint, then that facility, when you bring recruits in like we will this weekend, and they know and recognize the icon that it is, it becomes an asset in that aspect of it. And I don't foresee ever, if we were able to achieve the one goal, where we would still not keep a relationship and have the ability or want the ability to continue to utilize that in some aspect. It's the only one of its kind.
LSU, Louisiana Lafayette have indoor practice facilities. Is that a realistic expectation at any point in the future for football?
Is it an immediate expectation? No. When we looked at, a number of the things, if you go back to where we started rebuilding ourselves in 2006 as an athletic program, and one of the factors looked at, certainly understand the importance of it, and, there's some years where it's, gosh, you absolutely wish you had one of those, and there's other years where, there's not a single instance or day where you even deal with it. Is it the priority today in looking at, again, not just for football, but overall what we're trying to achieve? No. What we previously talked about in terms of a different setting or venue trumps that, tenfold first. Now, to say that, when we're talking about that being realistic, it means because that other thing has been achieved, and I welcome that.
Is there a timetable that you could point to have a non-campus or near campus facility?
Just a different venue. We and I think we kind of said that when we also said, that we know the long-term future and best case scenario, for any collegiate football program, specifically for this, is to put ourselves in a more conducive collegiate type setting that lends to these other things. And we said that, I guess, maybe last spring, summer, or whatever, and that we'd spend this next year, seeing if that could become a reality. So I think that still holds true. That if you don't see or hear, or you will see or hear from us by next fall, that either is the case or it's not. We're not going to, it's not going to be a 5-year process to determine that. I would say by next fall we've come to that conclusion of what will happen or won't.
Here's a guy who can write you the check.